The Redmagic 7 Pro is gonna get a rating out of 5, so let's see how it does in 5 different categories. Firstly, the phone design. Let's see what comes in the box with the Redmagic 7 Pro. When opening the box, we get a USB charging cable, a 65-watt power brick, a case with the phone, which is really good, and of course the phone itself, the Redmagic 7 Pro. So the well-designed glass back of the Redmagic 7 Pro is sandwiched by aluminum sides. The left one has the gaming button on it and the right side has the shoulder triggers as well as the volume rockers and a heating vent for the cooling fan inside. The top has a speaker and surprisingly a headphone jack, and at the bottom is a charging port and a speaker. As you may have noticed, there are two vents on the Redmagic 7 Pro, one at the left side and one at the back. These will provide the airflow for the cooling fan inside. This fan is designed to keep the temperatures down of the phone while gaming, and it looks quite cool with the RGB lights. So for this perfect design, the Redmagic 7 Pro gets a full mark in the design department. Well done, Nubia. So what about the specs? So I'm going to list the specs here so you can pause the video and look at them, or look at the description below for the full spec sheets. But it's safe to say that it has the highest specs possible in Android phone, so it gets a full mark in the specs department. So let's talk about gaming, which is the main selling point of this phone. This is going to be done by running 4 different native games and 4 different emulator games on this phone and seeing how it does. So for each game I'm going to measure the loading times as well as the frame rates at the highest settings possible in every game. So as you can see here, these are the highest graphics you can run on PUBG Mobile right now. Also, it's worth mentioning that I'm going to measure the FPS of each game after an hour of gaming. So PUBG Mobile at the highest settings get 40 FPS. However, when lowering the settings down from Ultra HD to HDR, you can easily run the game on 60 FPS without any problems. And thanks to the fans, there was no overheating and the game ran without any frame drops, which is really good. So the second game we have is Call of Duty Mobile, which is the most famous game on mobile right now. So it takes the phone around 22 seconds to run this game, which is quite fast in my opinion. So as usual, we're gonna run the game at the highest settings possible to see how many frame rates we're gonna get after running the game for a whole hour. After gaming for a whole hour on Call of Duty Mobile, the game easily pulls 60 frames per second without any problems. And playing the game using the shoulder triggers makes gaming on this phone so much easier and better than normal Android phones. So let's move on to our next game, which is Genshin Impact. To be honest with you, I never really played this game and I don't really have any progress with it, so the test here you're gonna see is from the start of the game. So what I did here to test this game is to keep it running for a whole hour at the beginning of the first mission of the game. And after waiting for an hour, you can see that the game runs at 30 FPS without any problem, which is very good for Android phones. And to be honest, I haven't seen this game run at more than 30 FPS before. Our next game is Fortnite. This game is not available on the Play Store, so you have to download this separately from the browser. It takes the phone just over 30 seconds to run this game, which is not bad for Fortnite. And the phone is also capable of running the game at 60 FPS at the highest settings possible. However, this game does not really run. Whenever you try to join a match, it says there is a problem with USB debugging. So if you have a solution for that, please leave it in the description below. So here is the most fun part in my opinion. Next we're gonna start some emulators. Firstly, let's go with the PSP emulator and try God of War on it. The game runs smoothly at 60 FPS at the 6x resolution of the PSP. And I gotta say, the PSP game emulation on the Nubia Redmagic 7 Pro is quite impressive to be honest. Next we have the GameCube, which is a game console that I didn't really have myself, but there is a lot of praise for it. And the game I'm gonna play is Super Smash Bros. The game runs quite smoothly at 60 FPS. But at the start of the game there was some frame drops, but you could discard them because the game after that runs really smoothly without any problems. So next we have the Dolphin emulator, and we're going to do some Wii emulation here. I'm going to play Super Mario 3D and let's see how it does on the Redmagic 7 Pro. And just like the rest, the game runs quite smoothly on 60 FPS without any problems. So next we have the PS2 emulator, which should be the most intensive one for this phone to run. So on this one I'm going to play the PS2 version of Dragon Ball Z, which was one of my favorite games as a kid. So at 6x the resolution of the PS2 itself, the game runs quite smoothly at 60 FPS. This concludes that emulation on the Nubia Redmagic 7 Pro is amazing. So in the gaming department, the Redmagic 7 Pro gets a full mark because it runs the game quite effortlessly. So when spending on a gaming phone, you still want a good camera. So let's test the camera of the Redmagic 7 Pro. So firstly, I'm going to take a picture with the main shooter of this figurine. Let's see how it looks like. I like the details and the color of this picture, so the main shooter is really good on this phone. As for the ultra wide, I don't think it's the best shooter out there, but it does the job. There's some details in the pictures, but it does not have a night mode, so it's not really the best out there. And next we have the portrait shot. In my opinion, was really good. The edge detection wasn't really bad at all. The separation from background is really good, but there is some lack of details. As for the night mode, I don't really have any complaints with that. It does the job. The picture is really clear. There's a lot of details in it. I wish the color was a little bit better, but it's not really bad. It does the job, and well done. I mean, for a gaming phone, the camera is really good. For the under display selfie camera, it does not really do badly. It's an under display camera, so you shouldn't expect so much from it, but it does the job. Selfies are not so bad. It's good for a gaming phone, but it's not the best camera out there, so it gets 0.6 out of 1 in this department. So lastly, its features. When we look at the extra features a phone has. Firstly, this phone has a 120Hz display, which is perfect for gaming. So there is not even a camera hole because the camera is buried underneath the display and you can't really see it even if you shine the light directly on it. Secondly, this phone comes with a gaming launcher. This gaming launcher is full with features that you need a whole video for you to show all of them. So from the right panel, you can change the refresh rate and you can show the stats of the game, for example, the FPS. Also, you can turn on the fan right from the game. So as you can see here, I press the fan and the fan is turned on. You can also start recording the game from there, or you can change the GPU performance, for example, and the CPU. So you can go with balance or performance or echo. It depends on how much battery you want to save. If you want to go for the best one, it's definitely balanced, but if you want to go for higher FPS, you can go for the highest one. And there are more features on the left side. For example, you can turn on the shoulder triggers, which are very useful for gaming, especially FPS games. There's so much tweaking and changing you can do to your game to make it better and suits your need. There's performance changes, there is picture changes as well. For example, if you want to change how the game looks depending on what game you're playing, you can change that as well from the left side of the game. And also you could add more features to this if you go to the plugins. But seriously, there are so many features on this phone that needs a separate video to explain all of them. So definitely the Nubia Redmagic 7 Pro gets the full mark in the features department. This gives the Redmagic 7 Pro the rating of 4.6 out of 5. In my opinion, the Redmagic 7 Pro is the best gaming phone out there, so if you want to buy it, I left the link for it in the description below. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like the channel, subscribe, and peace.